Yo, what's up guys? Sully here from BombTechGolf. Hope you're doing well. Today I just want to show you how to build your own golf driver if you ever actually wanted to learn how to build your own. This quick video will show you how to do it properly. So first, we need components. We got a golf driver head, got a matrix golf shaft, pure grip, Man USA, love it, and all black ferrule. And that's all you need for components. So let's start with phase one or step one. And we'll walk you right through the process. So, step one. That's our hosel right here. That's where the shaft's going to go in. We need to prep that properly, and what that involves is just sanding it out for about 3 seconds, and then hitting it with acetone to make sure it's clean. Proper preparation is going to allow that epoxy to really adhere well. So I'll show you. So first, this is one of our sanding bits we use. It's golf specific. It fits most hosels. And what we're going to do is just actually put this in the hosel. Literally hit it for 3 seconds. Should see it shine up a little bit. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Then at this point, we want to clean out that extra paint and debris. So we just put a little hosel brush we have with a little bit of acetone. Clean that out. That one step there is probably the most important part in getting the club head to stay on for a long period of time. So that's step one is done. Step one is complete. Now we're going to go into step two, and that is mixing our epoxy. So we use a GolfWorks maximum strength epoxy. This is not the cheapest product, but it works the best. It's a 24-hour cure time. So I'm zoomed up here just to show you. It's a 2-to-1 ratio, so you do need to mix it. I recommend mixing it for at least, if you want to be safe, 45 seconds. Here, again, this costs a little more, but it's totally worth it. We use glass shafting beads. We just use a little pinch. You don't have to go crazy with this stuff. And I just want a light coverage. We like to say about 30 to 50%. And that's just going to create more stability, make it a better build. Step two is almost done. Mix that thoroughly, make sure we're happy with that. Okay, step two is complete, your epoxy is ready. Okay, step three, we measure how deep our hosel is. This is a really quick step, but very important. So we just take our stirring stick, our club head, put it inside the hosel, and mark off where that hosel ends on the stirring stick. And what I like to do is add a couple millimeters higher, and this is going to give us the proper depth to sand our shaft to. So that's step three. Done. Step four. We're very lucky. Matrix in California actually tip preps all of our shafts for us, so we don't have to do this anymore. But for you guys at home, if you bought an aftermarket shaft and it's not tip prepped, let's go to step four. So now we just took our measuring stick and we marked off where we want it. So this tip, you can see, still has paint on it. Our goal is very simple. We just want to take off the paint and not take any graphite off. That's crucial. So let's go over there. So guys, we're at step four. We're going to take our measuring stick and our golf shaft that hasn't been prepped, and we're actually going to just put a small piece of tape at where we want it to go to. And the goal is really simple here. Well, it's not that simple, but we just want to take off the paint without hurting the graphite. Easiest way to do that, so we got a micro grit sandpaper here. It's a very, very fine sandpaper. Makes this job extremely easy. I wouldn't say foolproof, but pretty close. Okay, so we just finished sanding our tip here. We're just going to hit it with just a light amount of acetone, and barely any, just to clean that off. And we're going to see how we did. Goal is to take no graphite off, but take out all the paint. I've done a couple of these before. So here you can see finished product. You can see where the paint was left and where it's now no longer. And if you look down here, you can see the diameter still is the same. So that means you achieved the job and ready for the next step. Okay guys, we're at step five. I just loosely put on our ferrule and we're starting it down the shaft. We use these little taps that just make the job so much easier. You can buy them with all this other products at Golfsmith. Start it right here, I'll just show you. Step 5, tap our ferrule on. Our rubber hammers. You're going to feel it actually catch and go all the way to depth. There it is. If you're not 100% confident, you can always check. You want to have no shaft showing. Should be a solid connection. And that's step 5, nice and easy. Okay, step 6, we just put our ferrule on. We still have some epoxy on there, that's okay. What we're gonna do right now is epoxy inside the hosel. So we take our epoxy that's been curing inside the hosel, and this is crucial. I'll show you a different angle so you can see it. And what we don't want to do here is just shoot epoxy in there. What we want to do is put a light amount on the outside and just hit the outside of the hosel. So when you look down there, you want to be able to see the bottom, but see the sides that are coated. That means you've done a good job. If you actually put too much epoxy in the hosel, what's going to happen is extra epoxy will go up inside the tip and create a shear point. So I see a lot of club builders that are maybe new to it that put way too much epoxy in, and what happens is they break shafts right at the hosel. So this is a good way, by not putting too much epoxy, to make sure it lasts a long time. So we've done that. Step 7, we're actually going to put epoxy on the shaft tip and put our head together. Here we go, epoxy. So usually we have music at this point, but no tunes today. So all you want to do with this is just go back and forth, rotating, so you get full coverage. I mean, this step is the only step where too much epoxy is an okay thing. The only key to this is when you look down that shaft, you should absolutely see nothing inside that hole. Absolutely nothing. So at this point, take our head, which has epoxy in it, our shaft, which has epoxy around it. We're going to put the two together, rotating. As you go through, rotate about 5 to 6 times, back and forth. So excess epoxy will come out, that's a good thing. Line up the graphics the best you can. Paper towels, we use a lot of these things. So at this point, we just want to wipe down, away from ourselves. The goal is simple. Get rid of epoxy. I like to leave no epoxy at this point. Okay. Do one more for assurance. I usually want to squeeze just to make sure any extra comes out. I'll line up our graphics. So graphics are lined up as we want them. No epoxy. Now we gotta let it dry. Okay, so that's what I call phase 1. So that's the club we just built. We put on our drying rack, a couple of grenades. Let that dry for 24 hours because we use a full cure epoxy. And then we'll start the next phase. Okay, phase 2, day 2. Take our club right off the drying rack here with other clubs. And this takes a little bit of craftsmanship. It does. So what we're doing here is called finishing the ferrule, phase 2. So you can see the ferrules come stock, plastics piece hangs over the hosel. All we want to do is finish that down so it's flush. Use a paper towel, a little acetone, make sure it's thoroughly wet. Now we're just going to hold it between our fingers, spin it, spin it, spin it. Spin to win, and we're just actually melting that plastic down. Okay, so now it's flush. I just want to polish it up with a little more. So just a little more acid on our paper towel. see. Quick polish. Okay. Now it's polished down, totally flush, and we're almost done. We're at the finish line. So at this point, our driver we're building is 45 inches. We use a tabletop ruler. We're on phase 2 here. We just finished our ferrule, and we're measuring our club to length. This one's 45 inches. We use a tabletop ruler. Okay, 45. We go just an eighth under. Mark it there. So now it's marked, ready to be cut. And for those that don't have a tabletop ruler, you can use, this is a golf specific measuring ruler or tape measure. And you actually want to measure, this is the most important part of measuring, is to measure at 45-degree angle. Almost as if you're playing the club. Hold it like this and measure up to length. You want to measure up to an eighth under. Now look here, just like you're holding the club to tee off. That's how you measure. We've measured, now we get a cut. Okay, at this point we're just cutting our shaft to length. Just got our chop saw here. We use a little block to make sure it's level. And just cut it clean. Smooth motion, that's it. Just cut our shaft, you can see a nice clean cut. No graphite fragments or anything. So we're looking good, and we're on our final step, gripping. Here we go. This club, they want a standard grip. Got our little vise here. This is a golf specific vise we use. Okay, phase 2, last step. Our club is almost built. This is a golf specific vise, and the most important part of this is you want to actually put your club in and then push it forward until it's secure. If you actually try to manually put it on and go too high, you can actually break the shaft, so we recommend putting it in higher up and then just sliding it down there. Now we're going to put our grip on. It's a standard size grip, and we actually use an air compressor, so this is pretty cool, saves some time. The final step. Okay. So we use pure grips. We have a little adapter. This is the gun that we use with air. Final step. Here we go. We're just started on the shaft there. Burst of air. Make sure we're lined up. Let's see how we did. Beautiful. Grips on. Club's built. That's how you build a golf club, guys. All done. Thanks.